Yo, it's your boy N.O.L.A Tactical, and I am here doing a podcast with my aunt. We are both in the security field. He brought me into it. We really going to sit here and shoot the breeze with y'all. I've been trying to get the podcast with him going for I think it was like 2-3 weeks now.
Yeah.
So this is Mason, aka Yoda. So what what year you actually started security?
I officially put a rig on and a gun in 1995.
And that was a year before I was born. That was a year after I was born. That was
That was
crazy.
my first official security job, and it was here in a place in New Orleans that's well known. It's called the Circle, which they sell a lot of fresh produce and things out in the open.
Okay.
So they had to have somebody stand security, but as corny as it seemed at the time, all security details are learning aspect.
Mm.
And that taught me how to deal with wide open, vast areas. You know, when you have product that's just out,
Yeah.
nothing's secured, nothing's locked down, and it makes you more aware of your surroundings. You know, because you have people on all sides of there, and of course you're wearing a weapon. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and the experience at first I was kind of annoyed. I'm gonna be honest with you, I really was. I was annoyed in the beginning, and I started to get out of it. But I I wasn't officially locked into this until the first time I had to stop somebody from actually trying to take somebody's child.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So what was that like? Like what was that?
I had a situation I'm doing, you know, of course I was security detail at a store
Okay.
in retail. And somebody's child, as always, is not on purpose. Sometimes children wander.
Yeah.
They must have wandered off from their parent. And I'm watching this little girl, and she's moving around. So I see somebody walk up to her, and the man's, you know, talking to her, of course, you know.
Mm-hmm.
She walks off from him. So 10 minutes later, a female approaches the same little girl. Well, I guess the male aspect didn't work the first time. So in turn, it's in a female because she was comfortable. And in turn, the little girl started to walk off with her. So I walked up and I introduced myself. You know, good evening. And look, my name's Mason. You know, I'm the security here. I wanted to ask. I threw kind of a weird question out to see what the little girl going to say, the adult, versus to what the little girl's going to respond. And I asked the little girl, I said, well, where's your mom or dad? And she, oh, they're over there. So at this point, I want to know what this adult is doing with this little girl. And I said, well, excuse me, who are you? And of course, you got to be prepared because it could be an honor something, so you have to be prepared the fact you might get cussed out.
Mm.
That happened. But better safe than sorry.
Right.
With the climate that we live in today and the way they're taking children.
Yeah.
Internal little girl, so my mother's over there. So I said, well, let's go by mom. And this woman says, she tell me, well, I'm going to take, I said, no, I'm going to take her there. I said, I got one better. How about all three of us go over there? In turn, this woman, in the midst of us walking, she just breaks off down the aisle and just proceeds to get like a slight jog. I knew then what was going on. When I got to the mother, I asked her, I said, do you have anyone else you're in the store with? You know, she said, no, what do you mean? I said, like a sister or a cousin. Or, she said, no. I said, well, somebody was trying to walk off with your dog.
Oh shit.
And in turn, she just couldn't do nothing but just stand there with her mouth open and and I said, yes, ma'am. She's like, are you serious? I said, yes, ma'am. I said, first a male approached her. I guess she wasn't as comfortable. She kind of backed away. And the female approached her maybe 10 minutes later. You know, and of course, she was asking me not to call CPS, and I told her, I said, ma'am, it's not about that. Children are children.
Yeah.
They're going to wander.
Yeah, they're going to want me to, they always curious and stuff.
No matter how much you try to keep them close to you, they're always going to be little more than arms reach from you, because you're gonna have to constantly saying, stay here, don't do that. You know, but I tell people, be aware, especially in this climate now, with your kids, and you gotta even watch old people approaching your kids. I've seen that. These elderly people approach like young teenage girls, you know.
Yeah.
Because of course, you would help an elderly person
Right.
if they walk up to you.
Yeah.
You know, so they use the same tactics now with young college girls, and you know, younger kids.
Damn.
You know,
So, that was your first encounter. What was your first, like, I guess you on, like, your club scene? Like, what was your first club? Like, your first club?
The first club I ever stepped foot in when I worked was a club here in New Orleans, known as Caesar's Place.
Ooh, LG at 1.5.
209 Monroe Street, right in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And the funny part is, then, to show you how the climate has changed as far as how they hire security, they actually set a foundation for how I felt as, you know, I went through time that clubs should work as far as security, hiring security. I had to go through 3 interviews.
Damn, back then?
3 to work in a nightclub.
What year was this?
This had to be late 90s, early 2000s. And
Wait, Caesar's been open that long?
yes.
Damn.
I stayed at Caesars from 2000, it's either from 99 or 2000 to 2015.
That's a lot of years at
Yeah.
one club?
Yeah, but in the process, I also worked a club by the club name of Jay's.
Bro, I would never go.
I would
I would
Jay's.
never go to G's ever again.
No, well, Jay's wasn't what you know it being now. Jay's was in Gretna.
Oh,
time.
yeah.
And-
By young audience and shit.
Yeah, I actually worked there as well. The gentleman had a club around the corner from there, a little bar called Felix. I worked there
that's
too.
for the that was like
For a
the
more older crowd,
Yeah.
more settled crowd. That was the sneak and hide, you know,
Yeah,
jaboo.
get your side
Yeah,
piece.
that's what the I
I
used to call
remember
the
that.
side piece club. That's what it was. That's what it was, because they actually had 2 bars, one in the front, one in the back.
Damn.
And what would happen if you came in the front, Jaboo came in the back, and you send drinks, you get with the bartender that's in the back and send the drinks to her. That way you're never seen sitting with her. But that's another time, another podcast. But I've seen that aspect. But I worked Caesars, Jay's, Louisiana Superdome.
Oh,
Commissioned,
shit.
I was a commissioned officer there, which they full uniform, fully operational department. They function and move just like a police department.
Damn.
From roll call to inspections of uniforms, guns. Our units had blue lights, the whole 9. But we worked under the state,
Right.
you know. And I must say, and I also did other extra details in between. Like I did some private security details, you know, for different people. Just personal protection type stuff, you know. But all that I did consecutively, excuse me, almost 15 years.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Damn.
15 years. That's just that part.
That's a lot of way of telling your body, bro.
Yeah, but you gotta realize in that era, where now is more gunplay.
Yeah, back then.
I remember a time we didn't have to wear guns when we
Yeah.
had clubs. Most you had was one detail officer.
Yeah.
It got to a point we had, but at Caesars we had 7. We had 7 police officers and a K9 unit.
Damn.
Yeah, because they did not
Oh,
play.
but season was kind of wild.
Yeah, Gretna was notorious. That police department is known around the country.
Oh, I hate
I
Gretna.
know.
I'm security. I'm a Louisiana State
Board
licensed
certified, yeah.
fucking. And I hate going through. I hate Gretna, bro.
Well, I ain't gonna lie.
I can't stand Gretna.
I won't lie. In my time, which back in that time, there was still notorious, but what I did, I took it upon myself to make it work for me.
Yeah.
So in turn, I went to different training classes that they offered. If officers were willing to train me in things, I took that training, you know. Because what it did too, it not only gave me more insight of how things function for them, but how to function with the law.
Yeah.
And that's the problem I find in this business. Too many people are getting into this business and not doing it legitimately by learning the laws.
Right.
You know, and especially,
right.
I hate to say this, but I'm being real. Us as African Americans, we have a tendency not want to learn these laws. These laws are basically made for us.
Right, right.
And
Especially
whether we're in the business or not, it can make or break you, you know. And my biggest thing, and I talked to my wife about this, the term resisting.
Oh,
resisting is something as simple as put your hands on the car, which the officer may say. You put your hands on the car. But as always, we want to run our mouth, we want to argue and fuss, instead of paying attention to what's being said and what's going on. Stuff like badge numbers, names, the unit numbers, stuff you can remember to go back and tell your lawyer otherwise. Your main thing at the time is to stay alive. It's not to argue and bicker with these people, because at the end of the day, they have you in a bad situation. Your thing is to live, to get to your people, so that in turn you can take the proper measures from that point and hopefully get something done. But you live.
Right.
It's not about trying to prove anything. A dead man can't prove nothing. I'm telling you from my experience. I'm 51. I've seen some things in my time. You know, I've watched young men die. You know, I've held young men while they died and beg you not to let them die. You know,
and
everybody's a gangster to bullets start flying. I promise you.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen some guys go to been some street soldiers out here until they get hit, and then all of a sudden call my mom. They're grabbing on to you. Don't let me die. So all I'm telling you, the greatest gangster to me is a book gangster. If you're a book gangster, you ain't got to worry about being a street gangster. Because you're going to think, a lot of times you'll out there, I think, an ignorant police officer, if you're dealing with them, by knowing the laws, but functioning to a point that they don't have you in a position where they can hurt you.
Right.
You understand me? I've been there as a commissioned officer in uniform, and they had them jack me up like I had just killed somebody. But I kept cool. I followed the law. They gave me my stuff, let me go about my business. But I promise you, I followed up on it. And sometimes they got a spank on the hand, and some of them no longer work with these departments. You know,
because I had a situation during my daughter having a baby shower with my daughter. This time I was living at Trina. Those who know what Trina is, it's the slums for real.
Yeah.
You know, my baby mama, she was pregnant with Jimmy, and I had to go get ice. And I seen the plate. Little guy, it was a little guy, because he was, you know, the apartments all the way toward the back by the canal.
Yes.
So they by the canal, I guess the dude was selling them a little hammer or whatever, and he test-fired it in the canal. Somebody across the street in the houses must have called the police.
Yeah.
The Cedarwood houses.
Mm-hmm.
So went to go get it. Went to go get the ice. Came back. I'm walking to the apartment to get the ice with my with my BM brother, and all of a sudden, two white dudes came out of nowhere, pointed AR at me. Get on the ground, woo woo. I'm like, what? Like, hey, you keep in mind, I had on white pants. I'm like, I'm not getting on the ground, brother. What you want? He was like, get on the ground, or you gonna leave. It's pretty much.
Well,
so
yeah.
my brother-in-law, my BM brother was like, man, just get on the ground. I was like, man, I got on white pants, man, they tripping. Man, that shit could be washed. Get on the ground, bro.
That's true. Can't bring you another light back, bro.
So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get on the ground.
It's concrete.
That was the first time a gun was ever pointed at me, and I couldn't do nothing.
It's a helpless feeling, man. I'm telling you.
Right. and you
and you feel like you've done everything right.
Right.
And here it is, I'm still not good enough.
Right. And it was better than police, bro. It was like 2 white dudes came out of nowhere with ARs at you, like, where the gun at? I'm like, what gun? I don't got no gun, it just came from the gas station. I know you see the ice in my hand. I'm like, dog, like, you really harassing me on some shit. Like, I'll really report you. He was like, oh, well, where they at? Where they at? I know you know where they at. I'm like, motherfucker, I just came from the fucking gas station. I'm gonna know what something that y'all looking for is at.
Yeah, it's
you know what I'm saying?
It's unfortunate. With every department, you got ignorance. And it's not the whole department. I'll be the first to say that. I've known some really good police officers in my time, man, that really do their job. And some of them to the point they sacrificed, you know. They sacrificed their life, man. And what I need people to understand is not to retro back, but to get back to what you were saying about when I first started the interviews. That interview process was grueling. I have been on regular jobs where they didn't grill you like that. I had to have an interview with at the time, a guy by the name of Michael Willis. Well known by a lot, hated by others, but I will say this. He introduced me to this business by way of a cousin of mine named Jerome. Who actually was
Jerome, yeah.
Uncle Jerome. He was working there already. And he brought me in and he told me it's gonna be a process. You're not gonna just get hired. He wasn't playing.
Yeah.
In turn, guy Michael Willis, I met with him that night. The club was open, wide open. I mean, people for days, 2 lines that run out to the street, 2, 3 detail officers from Gretna. And in turn, I introduced myself, asked me if I had any weapons, anything on me. No. In turn, I went in, asked me, look, my name and where I grew up, educational level, that I've been to jail, all these things, you know, all kinds of stuff. If I was dating somebody, blah, 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 where I normally hang out, you know, what type of music I like.
Damn.
Yeah. And I thought at the time, I'm like, this is the craziest interview. What all this got to do with the fact that we being here and telling people, don't stand on the table, put that bottle down, stop the arguing, they fighting, they got to get put out. What does that have to do with any of this? In turn, I learned it had a lot to do with it. When you hire people, you understand me? Oh, and also I had to go through some interview with the actual security team.
Yeah.
They had to interview. All 6 of them people had to talk to me, and they got back with the promoter. That was the guy, Mike Willis, and let him know what their feelings were about me. Then I had to interview with the owner,
Mr. Caesar himself.
yeah, himself.
Damn.
Adam Caesar himself. I sat in the office with him for almost 20 minutes, and in turn he got with Mike. But the funny part was the night I went to interview, I started that night, and it was weird the way I started. Gentleman by the name of Jose, and, God bless his soul, he's deceased now. And that's another story, because he was actually killed in the line of duty.
Damn.
Security, yeah. Security. Armored truck driver, shot 3 times with a 12 gauge. Big Honduran guy, I believe he's Honduran, if not, I apologize, you know, but he's Latino descent. Gentle giant was patting down the door. In turn, they started me working in the back. And the worst thing, what I call the pit, when you work in security, is have to stand next to these big old speakers while they're going off.
Right.
And everybody, when you start, you're putting what I call the sound pit.
Right.
You're standing next to a speaker.
I hate it.
I'm only 5'6". The speakers had to be stacked up almost 6 feet or more tall. And this thing is blaring. So always keep you some ear.
Yeah, bro.
I promise you, but they won't tell your ears up. I know guys now in this business, they can barely hear because of that. In turn, he ended up getting sick. Took sick that night. In turn, he had to leave. He got from the pretty, got real sick. They come back to, hey, you, come here. Me? Yeah, you, come here. Okay. What I did, you know, I'm thinking, okay, what have I done? I'm standing here, doing my job, keep people off the stage and directing people, come here. We get to the front door. Of course, they had a metal detector.
Yeah.
Another good thing in this business. But they have one that worked.
Oh, yeah.
Not
Just
just
fucking
standing
space.
Yeah. You don't want a prop. You don't want a moving prop. You want one that actually works. Nah. It worked, but they also believed it too because this gentleman that was the the promoter, the manager, he in turn said he was from the hood. A lot of these dudes that come out of jail, prison, and I'm standing there laughing like, yeah, okay. He said, man, they'll tape stuff in their chest and tape stuff on their back. And I learned a lot of that too, whether know it or not, from record police with his pat downs and checking people. My greatest training was with guys that served time in Angola. You know, here in Louisiana, which if anybody knows that's a serious prison.
Serious.
It's considered one of the worst max prisons you want to go to.
I think that might be worse than Allen.
Yeah, almost.
It might be worse than
Because
Allen.
down there, believe it or not, it was a plantation. No slavery.
Yeah.
Angola, the real Angola where it sits today, they still have slaves picking cotton. That's what it was. It was a big plantation back then that they turned into a prison system, a max prison system. So I tell people, please don't do that. Because they get free labor out of it. What you know, the prison system was developed as free labor anyway. Once they freed us, they had to find a way to develop to get us back in there. So that's what they did. Ultimately, that's another podcast, of course.
Yeah, my grandma, she did some time at St. Gabriel.
Yeah, which is the female version of Angola.
Yeah, she
not
was
no better.
Joe Williams named her as a queen pin of Maruru.
Wow.
Yep.
She got tagged.
It took him, I think she said it took him 5 years to catch her down bad.
And she got caught by Joe Williams, which is notorious.
Notorious bounty hunter.
He was a bounty hunter and a police officer.
Oh, all right.
JPSO, that's what he was.
Damn.
He was part of the task force back then. They
narcotics,
called, he was part of the narcotics unit. We called the Jump Out Boys. JP he was an all black. Join that unit, you had to be in top shape. Joe Williams had to be in his late 40s and could outrun half of these young guys in his unit. He was the only cop known. The rest of them wore jump boots, military style boots. He wore black Jordans. That's how he became notorious. And when you got caught by Joe Williams, for some guys that was an honor in the drug game.
And you know what the crazy thing is? When she got out, she went in when I was 1 or 2. She got out when I was 14.
Wow. Yeah, they smacked her hands.
So she got out when I was 14, and my auntie got out because they served together. They served time together. My auntie got out, I think, a year before my grandma. A year or 2 years before my grandma. So when my grandma got out, my dad, well, at that point, my parents were divorced. Dad was living in Dollar Tree.
Yeah, I remember.
Maripolis. We went out to eat that morning at Shoney's on
the expressway.
On the express, was it Shoney's? It was one of the breakfast spots. And she ran into Joe Williams, and she actually shook his hand and said, "I'm glad you caught me when you caught me.
Yeah.
Because you have changed my life completely.
Yeah.
I thank you." I'm like,
like I
what
said,
the fuck?
Yeah, but you gotta realize.
Gangster. What the fuck
But
you
think
talking
about it, man. At that point, in the era your grandmother was in, there was rules, regulations, respect. There was a code.
Right.
And they live by that code. That's why I say any so-called true gangsters are gone. Because either they done time or they're dead. Period. These boys now are not no gangsters. They're not.
They
Gangsters
really
have rules.
create beef for no reason.
Yeah. Because gangsters avoid anything other than making money. They avoid a drama.
Right.
When they got problems, they come together, they talk to figure out where this can be dealt with without violence. Because they're not trying to draw attention. Nowadays, these boys want to spray bullets everywhere, and even if you broke a code back then, they dealt with you silently. Which means they'll walk up on you with a small caliber weapon, like
Right.
a mob, popping, and that's a wrap.
Cause I remember back then, like women and children was
Women,
off limits.
kids, women, old people,
And school
zones, churches,
all that shit was
stores,
off limits.
catching you with your family.
Yeah.
No, I said no. They waited. They had to be patient. They weren't gonna spray 90 people to catch you.
Right. So I started in what 21? I want to say.
Yeah.
I started in 21, right? You introduced me in 21, right?
It wasn't
I started
nice.
with it wasn't
nice.
it wasn't. I didn't start in a best position in the unit that we was in.
Yeah.
But
Because I'm not nice, and I'm not nice for a reason.
right.
I'm known to be grouchy, mean. They'll tell you, if you gotta go to Mason, now you know now he go. And I didn't care about you being my nephew. None of that meant nothing to me, because my thing was, at the end of the day, I want you to do your job at the best of your ability. But I also too didn't want you to fall into the shenanigans now. And I hate to say it, a lot of these guys now in security make this field look like shit.
Yep.
Excuse my expression,
Yep.
because they don't know what they're doing. They're just wearing stuff, wearing equipment. They don't know what it is.
Yep.
Don't know what it's for. Can't tell you the first thing about it.
But it look cool, so I put it on my belt.
They half-ass wearing it. You want to wear red, but then you want to sag your pants still. So you either want to be a street nigga or you want to be a gangster. Excuse my expression.
Right.
You can't do both.
And our first job was at Spades, right?
Yeah, it was a well-known strip club. Yeah.
Well-known strip clubs,
Walls.
Club Spades. That shit was fucking ridiculous. That shit was like, I first started at N.O.L.A. when West brought me in. We was part of Black Line Protection. Somewhere down the line, it fell.
It dissolved.
It dissolved. So everybody is doing their own thing now. But when it was,
hopefully it'll find its way back.
yeah, hopefully.
And maybe another.
I don't think it's gonna be like how it was.
No, but it'll find its way back in another description. But everything comes with time, bro.
Right.
Hopefully he can revamp, rebuild,
Yeah.
and come up with better, because
Come
actually
with better, yeah.
he had people, but a lot of those people needed training.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But had potential. Had potential.
Yeah, handful of them had good potential.
Good potential.
To
Yeah.
be good in this field. The rest of them, I told him at points he needed to let them go.
Yeah.
Because they would either break him, and the fact they would do something that would cause harm to themselves as well as others around them, including maybe other officers. Ultimately, get him caught up in a lawsuit.
Yeah.
And on a degree, it did happen to him. He got caught up with the state.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but I
But
think
he recently got back
yeah,
straight.
that's what I'm saying. I
Yeah,
think
he
he
recently
bounced
got
back.
back straight. Yeah, he got back straight.
And it was actually my brother.
Yeah. I mean, anybody know of Black Line Protection in here? Well, in Louisiana, that was like at the time in 2021, 2022, he was like one of the biggest contractors in the city.
Yeah.
He could have been the biggest one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Next to Bruiser, which is my dog. I fuck with Bruiser, I fuck with Sherman. That's Guerrilla Protection. I did work with. Well, we both did work with Guerrilla Protection.
I've actually worked for all these guys.
Yeah. So
good guys, man.
Good guys, bro. So
learned a lot from them.
when we was doing Spades, it was a team. All right, so you had Black Line, you had Guerrilla. I think they Guerrilla Proof, right?
Yeah.
Because you had Guerrilla Proof, and then you had Guerrilla Security Solutions.
Yeah.
It's two different gorillas. So
One was DJ.
one was DJ and one was
Guerrilla
Bruiser.
Solution.
Yep.
Then you had Bruiser.
Yeah, then you had Bruiser with Guerrilla Proof.
And Guerrilla Solutions did our exterior mobile security in the area. Good guys, good response, came equipped.
Equipped correctly.
Correctly, yeah. Uniform, and like I said, I respect that.
I always said that, like, DJ Gorilla Solution was more of the tech security.
He was, because he
Because he
knew a
always
lot
had,
of
he had
tech
everything.
stuff.
A lot of he has radios, lights, horn, everything.
Yeah. He came equipped. His vehicles came equipped with the proper, yellow or green lights from security, state board standards.
State board standards, and it was us, Black Lion Protection. Like, we was like the fucking G.I. Joes.
Yeah.
We was the G.I. Joes of outside security.
Yeah.
Right?
You had to be there, because now we're talking gunplay.
Right.
You fast track from 95 to when I left Caesars, which was in 2015, the gunplay had started coming in. Because then these guys started doing these major hits in the street. Like me at Caesars, the first time I actually had a guy got killed. He didn't get killed in the club, to be correct, because the owner had to go and get retracted by Channel 4 News, because it was put out he was killed in Gretna in Caesars, and he wasn't.
Right.
This young man was killed down the street in a car on there what we call Whitney Avenue. It's now L.B. Landry and Mardi Gras.
Whitney went down all the way down there? I thought Whitney stopped at about a mall.
No, that's not even Whitney. Whitney starts
No, that is Whitney, because the Gates of Oakwood is on Whitney.
Yeah, it changed. It stays Whitney there because it goes in Jefferson Parish.
Oh, okay.
Jefferson never changed it on their side.
Yeah.
When you hit what the Fisher Housing Project is, where that main street is, that's Landry. Whitney ends there. They changed it from there all the way back in the LG.
So from that point,
it's L.B. Landry, which they named after the major high school. Only black high. It was the first black high school on the West End. And the oldest high school will be. In turn, when you get to Jefferson Parish line, it still stayed Whitney, which runs, up to Gretna. Up to Gretna and Jefferson Parish.
Yeah. So DJ was the tech part of the security team. We was like the front lines, and then you had inside security, which was Spider and Gorilla Proof. So Spider was the, I believe, the club security manager, right?
He was.
He's the head club
and operator.
Yeah. So, and Wes was the outside security manager. So it was a total of imagine like this. It was a total of 16 people. When shit break out, imagine you a street nigga, or you a claim to be a street nigga, you ready to shoot this bitch up, and you got 16 rifles pointing at you. Yeah. What is you gonna do? Back the fuck off. Back the fuck off. Like, imagine for, I want to say, a year and some change of that every weekend. Every weekend. We did that shit for a year and some change straight.
So imagine how you feel every weekend for a year and change. And I worked major clubs at that time, including through Katrina. I actually was at Caesars during Katrina. The year 2005, my youngest son was born.
Elijah.
But he was born not only that year, he was born that month. He was born August 23rd, 2005. A few days before.
Damn.
In turn, my son's mother, Tracy, and I commend her. We don't see eye to eye, but I give credit where credit is due. She took my son and the little money we had, and she left with her family. And she did good holding them boys down, my family at the time, during that time, because I didn't get back to them for almost 3-4 months.
Yeah.
And I had a newborn son.
Damn. That's crazy.
And I was with security for the Superdome. I reported to the Dome that morning in uniform, thinking, okay, like we always do, we get rain, the lights out for a few hours. You have to tough it out. City bounces back. I reported with a little bag with 2 pair of underwear, 2 undershirts, and a pair of jeans.
That's crazy.
That's it. Cause I figured that's all I need.
And this was and I remember you saying you had to get a whole whole nother pistol because
Yeah.
of the water. Yeah.
Yeah, because the water, when you look at the water, and you use up the water here, and your whole rig uniform, and back then, Uncle Mike's was the big gear thing.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like now, we got all these choices, better choices, but Uncle Mike was the top thing then, as far as duty rig stuff, some of the stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember that I had the web gear, thank God, because leather would have just disintegrated.
Yeah.
That web held a little longer. It eventually too started coming apart, but in turn, and you had to have level 2 and 3 holsters back then. You couldn't have those rubber cloth holsters with the snaps.
Yeah.
Worst thing you could have. And nowadays, you got Uncle Mike's. State board won't even let you work with that on. That's forbidden. You have to have at least level 1. But they require level 3 to work in the state of Louisiana state board security. Yep. Which I do understand because we had incidents with officers wearing these cloth holsters and got themselves shot, got civilians shot, and killed because the nurse died on Bourbon Street, God bless her. She lost her life, you know. She was from the West Bank over here.
Yeah. What I was about to say, so in that time, like, because I actually had a situation too when I first started out, my first time at Republic, which also I hope they shake back because of the shooting, the shooting in Republic.
And also 2 wings.
Wings, man.
God bless him, man. He was front line that night. He got hit.
He got hit in the
femur and had to end up having surgery.
Man, I told you I seen him. I seen him when I did.
Lewis.
When I did.
Which does a lot of bodyguard work too. I've had the pleasure of working with him, and I thank him. He's brought me home.
Yeah, he
some things, but
he was my partner. Matter of fact, you know that was Amber X. Kim Amber?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Amber X.
Well, I didn't know.
Yeah, he played for Jeff and everything.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Good guy.
That was Kim Amber X. But yeah, he got hit, and I think it was
female officer got hit. She got
hit
hit like 8 times. Thank God it was all flesh wounds. There wasn't no major, but still.
Yeah.
And it was just ridiculous, man. You doing shoot from hit of the wall with a rifle, trying to hit one person, and you didn't touch him.
Right. And the thing about that was when I first started, I had to break up my first brawl with Rebra. Yeah. So it was a brawl. It was like a little mini brawl. Everybody was on top of him, and he's trying to break up the fight. So I'm trying to get everybody off him, and all of a sudden I feel tugging. So I'm like, oh, that would have been bad if it was like a level 1 holster or whatever the case may be. That would have been bad. And
that's what training comes in.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
Just hiring these guys, and nothing against big guys, because later on when he does get a chance to do the podcast with other guys in my direct unit,
because I'm planning on doing
the Day of the Misfits.
Yeah,
Mongo is not small. I promise you.
There's a reason why he's called Mongo. Yeah, it's most definitely a reason you call. But I think
it's giant, Viking for a reason.
Yep, and he believes in the Viking way too.
Yeah, he does. He lives by the Valhalla.
Yeah. So the people I roll with, which is with the circle within your circle, Corey. He's more of a known. He's peaceful until you fuck with him. Me and you collectively we studied the way of a Ronin, and Mongo he's strictly Viking, and
he's pillaged the village. Yeah. Once he comes into play, all talking has been had, and at this point we just have to be hands on. And believe me, he's not the masseuse you want in your life, because when he touch you, he gonna touch you. I watched this man take these 2 fingers and throw a barricade over a car like it's a rock. So no, you don't want that.
Yeah,
you know? Corey, he's the negotiator. He's gonna try to talk the situation down, try to see how peacefully you can deal with it. But
and then you fuck over.
It's
man, I had Man, I had my first night here, my first on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I had Kevin. I had everybody in this dying laughing over that Millie situation when he took his rifle. When he took quarter rifle. And they were about to live.
That was about to turn bad.
It was the first time I actually witnessed somebody literally about to wire somebody's house to blow it up. Like I never prayed so hard for somebody I didn't know. Then he was a street nigga. I was like, oh Lord.
Well, I'll tell you this much: being part of that unit, when he took that rifle, it was like he stole from all of us.
Right, and then he took Spider mask. But Spider about to set that bitch off that night.
Yeah, that's not nice. And of course, Spider's a part of this unit.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happened, he peacefully tried to say, we were all about this. All systems go. We was gonna start a war in the streets until that rifle came up. And we made it known to the local law enforcement, hey, you're going to have to catch us or kill us because it's about to turn bad. We tried being peaceful. They want street stuff. We're going to show them what street stuff really is.
Right.
You know, now it's jungle warfare. And jungle warfare is totally different from streets.
But he also, like, after everybody finished dying live, he was like, you know what the fucked up part about the whole thing is? The reason why it took so many days, once they found out it was my rifle, nobody wouldn't even want to touch it.
That's what it was. They knew the rifle who had it. Everybody was scared to go, okay, here you go, because they didn't want to be looked at as, I took it.
Right.
No, we just wanted it back.
Right.
And it better not have been fired. And it better come back the way we sent it out here.
Because everything that was Corey's first bill.
Yeah. That was his baby.
He had
that was like his child. That was like my nephew.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know.
Yeah, that was his first bill. He had, because here's the thing, y'all gotta know, a lot of people in the circle of security I did was either military, some type of law enforcement, or just had a long track of security in the field or bounty hunters. So
yeah.
Corey was a
mixture of all of it.
Yeah, Corey was a real.
He was ex-military.
Right.
He was a scout in the military.
Scout, Army Ranger. Yep.
He was law enforcement for multiple years, and he was in security for multiple years.
Yep.
As well as a Bucks bodyguard. So
I was about to say, and then he did bounty work too.
Yeah, he's also a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
So that it wasn't nobody you want to go to war with.
Right.
And we were trying to be peaceful. I even tried to be peaceful that note because I knew where it was going to go.
Yeah.
You know, most of the time it's him and me that's trying to develop the peace system. Everybody else is like, okay, we're going to war now? And I'm like, not yet. They're like, okay. You ready yet? No, okay. You know.
But shit, for Corey, it was like.
And the whole time this young man was being watched. He didn't know. Every move he made took in the mama house, his house, kid's house, with schools. We watched all his movies. It was just when we wanted to reach out and decide to touch it.
So hard.
And I tried to talk to this young man too, because don't get me wrong, he wasn't no bad guy. It was just a bad situation when everything went down.
Right. So what happened was, we was at Spades. So like I said, we was outside security. Corey was pretty much being a scout there too, because he handled everything outside the barricades, right? So Spades let's put it like this. Spades was this big, in a sense, not purposely, but in a sense, was a big ass trap house, right? One way in, one way out. Yeah. So, well, no, you can't even say that because you got the side door. But once you out, you out. You know what I'm saying? So, we before, you know, we do pat down. So instead of us, we built a reputation with the people. So everybody it was to the point because we had the box. We were to the point where we was taking people firearms, writing their names, putting it on the sticky pad, putting it in the box.
Yeah, because of course you did have people that legally could carry.
Yeah, yeah.
So we had to secure these weapons
right.
and return them, but we wanted to set the system to return to the right people.
Right. So it was an event, a big event, and shit got so hectic with firearms. We was covering Dracos, like niggas like putting Dracos in their pants. ARs in their pants. I'm like, bro,
Females
what the
putting-
fuck?
females
How the
putting
fuck
Glock-
you gonna?
Females putting Glock 19 under their breasts.
Yeah, like it was stupid. It was. But it got to the point where they was like literally like before we even like got to the point where we like we'll go like this. We'll go like this to like check your chest or whatever. They'd be like, wait, before you do that, here, my name's such and such. Put that bitch in a box. You know what I'm saying? You know, put that bitch in a box. These bitches work. You hear me? So it was like it was on the trend of that. But we recovered so many guns.
Yeah.
It was, imagine a tug box like this big, this high, full of Dracos, Glocks, some with the, you know what I'm saying, the brr, and ARPs,
Yeah, so you had
and then
switches and
right, and then you got my truck that was full of whole back seat, including the floorboard, full of guns, and then you had Corey gun. Corey, how much? His whole back was full of guns. And then later on that night, something happened to where shots ran out. Rain. Matter of fact, I know what it was. It was the Rob 49 shit.
yeah.
And they shot at the ground to clear everybody so they could get in the club, which was stupid.
And that's a good correction. The shot that was fired on the ground was not one of security, it was just some random dummy.
Yeah, trying to get
inside. He wanted to the
because
club because he couldn't get in.
He couldn't get in. So he couldn't get in because the line was so long. Like it looked like Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
On Mardi Gras.
Yeah. But unfortunately, we had to keep a system of checking people because that's how things happen.
Mm-hmm. So when all that happened, everybody was rushing us, trying to get their gun and this and that. And Corey mistakenly
A weapon was put into the hands of
somebody else, which was Millie gun and Golf from Cutthroat Committee. His gun came up. He gave somebody his gun and he gave somebody Millie gun. So you know, like we said, Corey he tried to if it's a problem, he tried to make peace with it.
We did. He corrected it.
Right.
Our gun. He replaced Gall.
He replaced Gall.
Financially.
Right.
Corrected that night. Us and the unit and him came up with that money to correct that.
Right.
To make it right.
And Corey was scheduled to come here.
Yeah. He was scheduled
the next day. So he was like, when I come back, I'll reimburse you too.
And in turn,
you know, Millie was so drunk. He was like, man, that bitch had that brr on it and da 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 da.
Yeah, of course he would have talked.
And you know, all of a sudden, we were looking for that bitch for like an hour. And all of a sudden, he said, you know what? Look, don't worry about it. Just hit me when you come back. So everybody was like, all right, cool. So when everybody came and you know was putting the cars back in position, because we lined up everybody car that had guns in it to search all of them at one time.
Yeah.
And
once
Corey went to back his truck up and he looked back, because I seen it. His rifle was on the rifle rack, and then all of a sudden that bitch wasn't there. And then Spider-Man was going, because before he had that, the fucking Zulu ball, he had a detail there, and he couldn't have his gun, so he put his gun in Corey's truck. So, and everybody put two and two together, really took it. Well, the individual took it, so you know.
Yeah, when we narrowed it down,
that was a hard
question. And Tommy went back and watched some videos. We narrowed down who it was. Then we narrowed down an individual.
Right.
In turn, we let it be known. We know who this individual is.
And then
we got 48 hours to have this weapon returned right back here.
And then 48 hours turned into a fucking week.
In the hands of Corey or one of the members of the unit. If not, shame on you.
Right. And then 48 hours turned to a fucking week, because once they found out who rifle it was, nobody wanted to touch it. So it was like, all right, well, at some point, either somebody's house is gonna get blown up, or
we won't put it like that. It was gonna be. There were gonna be some problems for people, like real stuff.
Like
the stuff we had, it was legal weapons that were purchased A lot of money was dumped into them. I'm talking about thousands of dollars to build them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were custom weapons. They wasn't the basic, off-the-shelf rifle or handguns.
Right.
That were purchased for the guys in this unit. So it turned out peacefully. Of course, you know, Corey tried to. Everybody at this point was ready to go to war, including me. Which normally I'm not like, look, let's just talk about this. Let's try to figure out something. But even me, because I felt like that was like you taking a weapon from me.
Right.
But don't do that. I don't play that, man. Don't touch my children. Really.
Right. So shit, it's almost time for face check. So
Oh, yeah.
look, we definitely got to do it again. And I'm also going to try to do podcasts with all these other names that you heard within this video. What's your Jay say? It was cool to do it at the what's your Jay? Damn, I forgot his name.
Josh.
Yeah, Josh. So he was like, it was cool for us to go to the office and just do one big collector for him.
Yeah, it's a room up there, a weight room actually.
Yeah. So we looking out for that. Gonna have the infamous Corey, who y'all been hearing about. I'm gonna try to get Mongo, link up with Mongo if he ain't working with Spitter or whatever.
Kevin, what's
Kevin.
Gunsmoke.
Yeah, Kevin. We work with Kevin. I work with Corey. If West Stubborn Ass is down with it, I'll try to get him in.
Well, now I say you have to check with the president with his wife.
Yeah, his wife. Yeah. So yeah, man. So if you like what you see, man, comment. Don't be scared to comment, because I will bring up, you know, comments in the collective podcast once I can get it on and popping with the individuals. Share, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.
Have a good one. Safe.